And saving the most difficult for last today, because, I mean, when we look at it, initially it was already a stretch to talk about, like, burst hearts and, you know, what is this? This is nothing. It's just a random gem that probably has no significance in the Pokemon Sun and Moon logo, right? So, naturally, it got buried, and we didn't even understand what it was going to do. Like, the burst heart was kind of the closest reference to something existing, like, for an edgy, like, oh man, I found out this theory kind of idea, but it really didn't have anything to base off of, and it got forgotten because we hadn't heard anything about it for a couple months, and then, god dang it, okay, so now we're in problems, because what's that? Well, it's like a Mega Bracelet, but it has the same exact thing. We have a yellow diamond right here. Actually, let's Control Plus. Let's zoom in on this bad boy. And I controlled in so much that it actually lost itself. Either way, Control Plus in, and there we go. So we got effectively what we see in the initial thing, and that screws everything up. That screws everything up, because we were at the point where we didn't have to think about it, and now we do. And this is why this video is going to be so difficult, because it could relate to several things. You know, I'm not the most experienced in Pokemon ReBURST. I don't think anyone, well, there's not too many people that are experienced in Pokemon ReBURST, but also it has a lot of significance to Ash-Greninja as well. So we'll try to talk about everything today. And you can see that in multiple representations throughout, like, everything, you know, there's the wrist again, there's the wrist thing again, and especially right there. I mean, it's all over the place. It's like, by the way, I have a Mega Bracelet, but it's not a Mega Stone. What you gonna do about it? And the closest thing we have is that either this is just going to be exactly like a Mega Stone, it's the same mechanics as Mega Evolution, nothing's fantastic, it's just gonna be a little flashier for Pokemon Sun and Moon, but it doesn't have, like, the whole genetic DNA code kind of thing, so maybe either Mega Stones are more refined or something, or it has something to do with Ash-Greninja, and that's where things start to get pretty fancy. So Joe Merrick, he is the webmaster of Cerebi, he tweeted out this picture, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool, but it just kind of shows that Ash-Greninja, how well it's represented, and how much lore and story is going behind it, just kind of keeps going more and more. I'm not keeping up with the Pokemon X and Y anime, I'm certainly not keeping up with it in Japan, because I'm pretty sure, like, this is the most recent from the Japanese, new animation when activating the anime. So, like, this is new, fresh information almost coming out just hours ago. And it shows that a lot is going into this, and I decided to look up a Bulbapedia article and try to inform myself. And we'll see that this is what I ended up getting out of it. So, right here, the form comes in the side effect of whenever Greninja takes damage, the pain is shared with Ash in the same location. Also, Ash gets Greninja's point of view and will occasionally mimic Greninja's movements, describes it as the feeling of becoming Greninja. Well, this is not as cringy of a way as Pokemon ReBURST did it, because Pokemon ReBURST was kind of weird with how it looked. I'm going to just remove my camera here for a second so you can see, like, it looks kind of screwy. Like, that's just full-on transformation into a Pokemon, and then, like, a lot of the other trainers, you know, every person kind of has their own weird way of doing it, and, you know, some of them look decent, others it's just kind of like, it's unsettling. I mean, I could just say weird all day long, but that's pretty much what it feels like. So that's a problem that it had, and according to Joe Merrick, it failed. I feel like I need to say this again, but ReBURST got canned because it sucked and nobody liked it. They're not going to add that to Pokemon Sun and Moon. However, with all of the care that they're putting into whatever Ash is going through, like, it seems like, is that maybe where the relation is coming through? Like, after all this, it has to be in the games. Well, I mean, is this potentially how it's going to be represented, or is it going to be represented in a new way? I'm not sure. It's just kind of like bringing everything to light. I think tons of people have wanted this. Tons of people commenting like, oh, pay attention to the bracelets. Well, we don't really know enough about the bracelets because the whole ReBURST thing, that was a stretch to begin with, but now it's on the table, and now we actually know more about how Ash's Greninja works. But it's not quite a Mega Evolution, but it's not quite a ReBURST at the same time. However, Mega Evolutions are through the bonds of Pokemon. That's all about having, like, the most connected bond with your Pokemon to unlock its true power. And it's also weird to see, like, how will this, like, interact with your trainer? If it gets traits of your trainer, that's not going to feel like it's going to be heavily associated with you. And there's a lot of editing going on with that, so, I mean, maybe it's just going to try to tie in what's going on with Greninja and kind of really sell the emphasis of Mega Evolution, that, you know, it's very, very special in its own kind of crazy way, and that's really all that we have to do it. So similar mechanics. Like, it's halfway between when we're looking at with, like, the way Ash-Greninja works and just stuff, you know? I don't really know what else to say about it. It works in its own way, and it has a lot of things going on. At the very least, Mega Evolution. Like, I mean, that's another actually topic to cover at some point. What about Megas in Pokemon Sun and Moon? We haven't seen any new Megas, but there's no reason to get rid of this new mechanic after throwing it in, and it was really fun. Like, having Megas for competitive battling, I would say, improved competitive battling in Pokemon by a large margin. Now, I would just say that all I have to do is balance Pokemon like Mega Kangaskhan and a couple other very powerful Megas, and then we'll actually be somewhere with this to where there's not one best Mega. But I like the idea that there's almost a Mega for everything you can run, like any kind of team composition, and you have to make it count, that you only get one Mega, and that's really cool. So I like the idea behind Mega Evolutions. They shouldn't really just scrap it already. I really enjoy a lot of the Megas. Like, Mega Medicham is amazing to use. Mega Sableye is awesome. And Mega Lopunny, I mean, all the Megas have their own personality, and they are special and deserve to not be scrapped. So I doubt that Pokemon's going to get rid of that after putting all that time in the assets. But it just really adds on to, like, what does it mean? And it does share, like, it's in the logos. So it's going to be a big part. But that's exactly why this was a theory, because I wonder if I have it. Yeah, talking about Pokemon X and Y, if I can, there we go. Talking about Pokemon X and Y, it was effectively in the same location, talking about Mega Evolutions. It's the same Bracelet, left hand Shenanigans, so we're going to learn more about Mega Evolution for sure, at the very least, and we're going to see if this has anything to do with Ash-Greninja, because it's getting a lot of love and care, but at the same time, Pokemon XYZ, well, Zygarde's getting a movie and some anime representation, but that's going to be kind of not really looking like it's going to do anything with Pokemon Sun and Moon. We also didn't get Z version, so we're in our own realm right here of prediction and speculation. That's why I'm like, I don't know what I can bring to the table with a video like this. I can just kind of get out the information, show what I know, show that I did cover the video before, but we're still very lost. It's just that this is what everyone's talking about, because it's like, oh snap, did you notice this glaringly oversized bracelet on this kid's wrist, you know, kind of idea. At least Megas. We got Megas. Be happy. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you guys get ready for some more Pokemon Sun and Moon. Pretty sure this is going to be the last Pokemon Sun and Moon video for today. Fan Fries is going to be tomorrow. Might just keep it Fan Fries, and then Saturday will be a lot of Pokemon Sun and Moon. Maybe Sunday. Monday we'll get back to regular content. And then before you know it, it's going to be time to deal with the Koro. Hold up, this changes everything. So I was just checking Twitter to see what else I could see, like if anyone was tweeting anything about ReBURST and Burst Hearts or whatever this thing means that I could help out. And suddenly, a wild tin tower has appeared. I mean, that looks just like a little bit out of Ecruteak City. And if anything, it seems like a bit more of a classical kind of town right there. But whoever pointed that one out, actually, we have the Twitter right now. You, man. You've got this. That's actually really good, because it goes with the theory I just had about Lugia and Ho-Oh being in the clouds. And I mean, you can see it. I mean, we have Ho-Oh's beak right there. We have the eyes, and even like this part could be the little like parts on the top of its head. And then the Lugia outline right there. And we have like a wing, and then potentially like the other wing over there. I mean, it looks really good. Now, what does this have to do with the Mega Evolution kind of video? Well, that's where this one gets interesting, because there has been a lack of information when it comes to Megas on Pokemon Sun and Moon, except for this little thing right here. But I'm thinking that, well, if we're getting Megas, we're going to get new Megas. And if Lugia and Ho-Oh are going to be in this, and we're getting actually like some kind of Johto, or at least callbacks in some way, second generation Megas. Seemed like a thing, huh? I mean, it's about right. I'm thinking that, because okay, so we can make all those connections, like Mega Evolutions. Who cares about Burst at this point? Maybe because we don't have enough information, could be a thing. Ash-Greninja might be a relevant factor in all of this because it's gotten a lot of love and care. But at the same time, Lugia and Ho-Oh could potentially mean, or at least like more Johto Megas or something like that. Definitely going to have to do a Mega video. But yes, it's all coming together, guys, with Pokemon Sun and Moon information. It's all coming together. I'm so excited. This game has descended me into madness, if you couldn't tell. I think we're going to be good, though. Closing thoughts, probably just regular Megas. I'm still all on board with when it comes to Lugia and Ho-Oh. I do think that there is a realistic... Wow, that actually came out pretty nice. There is, like, a realistic idea that you know, if this is Lugia and Ho-Oh, if there are still going to be like a lot of Mega support, just in a new way. Maybe there was something that Game Freak didn't like. Maybe the reception of Megas wasn't done just right. So we're going to be updating it in a different way, or at least just making it different. You know, you can't have the same feature being implemented in the same way, or else it might get stale. I do love the Rotom Dex, which is the other video I just did, and maybe it'll all come together in this brand new Pokemon adventure. So if you guys enjoy this video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.